What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite sports podcast, Sports Extra Uncut, here in the headquarters of WZIS-FM. As always, I'm the Coby Clark. Who we got here today with me?
All right, we got Joseph Lawnmower back in the cut.
And we got CJ Cooper back once again.
Yes, sir.
Still working on that nickname?
We still working. We go craft a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go get there for sure.
I'm excited. It's gonna be something I'm gonna love. I already know.
I mean, we could think of a whole lot. I mean, you could think about your obsession with LeBron, the way that you play running back.
Yeah, exactly. We're
going to start something off for sure.
For sure. It's going to be fun.
First things first, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. You know, hope everyone, if you have found someone, and if you haven't, you know, go do your thing out there.
Yeah, just tell somebody you love them today. Let's spread some positivity.
Tell your mom,
show
your
love,
grandma.
show love.
Exactly.
Tell your family, your friends.
You know, there's always somebody in the world that needs a hug.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think I would just go up to a stranger and not ask
Why
permission.
not, though? Why not?
It's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day.
Why not, though?
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
let's show love everywhere.
Exactly. You know, a little gas station clerk that's been getting me straight for the last couple of years. Hey, what's good,
That's
homie?
different. You know him in a way. You're a consistent regular.
Fair.
Some dude I'd just be pulling up on a bike to McDonald's. I'll be like, oh, bring it in, man. Bringing all that love and that energy, man. I love it. What a great sports week in general for the world.
Crazy.
I never really put the two together, but having the Super Bowl line up with the NBA trade deadline, that's like having Christmas back to back.
Like, my goodness. It is a time, for sure. It is definitely a time.
It's a time to be alive, like what Drake say.
I'm saying.
Are you a Drake fan?
Of course.
Good.
Greatest of all time.
A Lakers fan and a Drake fan.
Come on.
CJ, I don't know if I can rock with you, cuz.
Come on, why not?
Oh, Lord have
Come on,
mercy.
Joe. We all can't listen to what do you listen to that one Doom guy?
That Doom guy? MF Doom, you mean?
Yeah.
Don't get beat up. All right, let's keep going.
This is not a music podcast. That's for Pass the Aux.
Pass the Aux, exactly.
The Aux.
The Aux. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Sports Extra Uncut. This is where, you know, no holds barred, professional sports talk from the best in the business. This business. So, I mean, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, our reactions to everything going on between the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Philadelphia Eagles, and then we're going to transition into this man's jersey, the now NBA leading scorer for a career.
The greatest player of all time. The greatest player of all time.
Okay.
LeBron James.
LeBron Ramon James.
Ramon, that's his middle name.
He's pulling out.
Why have I never heard that before? That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Ramon. Oh, my
Ramon?
If I ever meet LeBron in person, I'm going to be like, what's good, Ramon? And he probably
that's
be like, what the hell?
I like it.
Have you seen that interview where the guy was like talking to Steph Curry and he was like, "Oh, Wardell," and he was like, "Oh,
Wardell is
get this
crazy.
dude out of here."
My goodness.
Talk about that, and then we're gonna end it off with the biggest trades that happened within the last week, like Serge Ibaka going to the Pacers.
The biggest trade, league altering.
Absolutely,
You know, it's crazy.
Nah, we're gonna talk about Kevin Durant, Kyrie, just a few right there, a little sample taste for you.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl though, baby. Oh man, I know you guys predicted the Chiefs to win. I'm not gonna lie. About second half, I was cheering for them. I didn't want Philly fans to have that moment.
I feel you. Like, for me, part of me wanted to see them win and lose, but the glorious thing about whenever Philly is in any type of championship game, the city of Philadelphia is going to be burnt to the ground, win, lose, or draw. Regardless. And I love that because I'm on Twitter and then I see a bunch of crazy videos and it has me dying for the next 48 hours.
Bro, if you're from Philly or you're just a Philadelphia sports fan, I feel sorry because they lost. I don't know a whole lot about MLS. That's more of a Gabe thing. But they lost the MLS championship, lost the World Series, and now they lost Super Bowl.
They did. Wow.
And they might lose Joel Embiid.
Together. They not.
Yeah, let's relax.
If he came into his senses, maybe one day.
Oh, wow. Okay. But, yeah, I mean, like, shout out to Philly fans. I don't feel, they were in, that many world championships. I can't feel sorry for them.
And, the worst pain of them all, they lost to the Saints.
Hey, shout out to
that?
the Saints. Somehow we got Saints talk.
Somehow you find a way to put the Saints in there.
Exactly.
Bro, CJ's second episode, you already know how.
Exactly. You already know what it is.
Somehow.
Exactly.
Oh, this is great. I love being in this chair talking sports. It's a lot of fun. I'll give you my first take on the whole thing. I really thought that this was, without a doubt, one of the best Super Bowls we've seen in some time.
Yes.
I mean, going back to, there's Atlanta, New England, Seattle. Those are great games.
Fantastic.
49ers and Chiefs to an extent.
It depends how you watch it. I'll say
Yeah.
the second half was a great game, but the first half was just very boring.
Last year's was very mid.
Very mid.
We all wanted Joe Burrow, and we didn't get it.
We did not.
But this one just fast-paced, back-and-forth action. A lot of great defense being played, but the offense absolutely outshined them in the end, which everyone considered. I mean, you have Jalen Hurts connecting with A.J. Brown. I almost said Antonio Brown. That's not happening.
That
Don't
might
get
put
any
him over the
ideas.
top, though. That might put him over the top.
Yeah, maybe 5 years ago. according to how I watched. That and the defense with how they're all working, and we'll get into the defense in a little bit. But I mean, we saw Pacheco and how well I think I pronounced that right.
Isaiah. Yep.
Yeah, he has just been absolutely phenomenal from just day one coming in here as a rookie. I mean,
Coming from Rutgers, not a big school. I mean, they're in the Big Ten, but they're not really big in football. And he just came and just dominated. He didn't really have a good college career. That's why he was very unknown. But his combine was amazing. So that's why he got drafted. And the Chiefs really got a steal. And I think he's going to be very good in the next 5 years.
I think he's already good now. I mean, a lot of people are shooting him off the fantasy draft board round 2, maybe or even round 1.
Okay, that's too far.
That's too far.
I'm just seeing what I saw online.
For sure.
But what the fact is, Patrick Mahomes just doing the unthinkable. I mean, everyone, he's hurt coming into the game. He's hurt in the game, comes out of the locker room. He's pulling some Michael's magic stuff. I said the wrong thing.
Magic Mike.
What is
happening?
What are we talking about, Coby?
I got 2 different things. Sorry, bro. My brain's just all mixed
That's
up.
why you was performing so good.
Man, it's Valentine's Day. I gotta prepare.
That's outrageous.
I don't know. That might be the most out-of-pocket thing I've ever said on this show. But no, I mean, just Mahomes just coming in and just doing his thing. And Kelsey had a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, even
both
Juju.
Kelseys. John, you said Juju had a good game in the second half. He had an okay game. He made some catches.
He made some, like, that one drive. Like, I think it was, like, the second or third last.
He made the biggest
and
play.
Played the game. I was just about to say that. By causing that holding penalty, which we were talking about later. But, man, I don't think you can call that call. It's too much.
Let's
it's
talk
the
about
Super
it
Bowl.
I mean, that's the one thing I wanted to realize.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those situations where, well, for me, in terms of how this Super Bowl kind of ranks, I give it like a B+, but like for me, most of the game it was like A to A- type of Super Bowl, and the B+ range mainly comes from that holding penalty. Yeah. That's kind of the worst way to like end off a season in general, because it's just, now there's debate. Now people don't know, like, what if it would have went this way, blah blah blah.
But even Bradbury said it was a foul.
But still, like,
come on.
I feel like a lot of that might be him just kind of like, reconciling with himself a little bit, being like, okay, maybe I did mess up, and like
in the
just
moment
owning up
you
to
wouldn't
it.
agree.
Exactly, but like I'm sure if he looks back at the film a little bit more and then kind of like breaks it down. I'm not saying that he's wrong by any extent. He knows much more about the game than me, but still I just feel like it might be just kind of a thing where it's just like, okay, I just might have just messed up,
And I think that puts the DBs in a bad predicament going into the offseason, because you call that type of play. Now, how do you train? How do you come back for the next season and dominate when you see a holding call like that? I just feel like it made the NFL look a little softer in the biggest game of the year. Yeah. You can't lose on that. Like, that's tough.
I agree.
And like,
very tough.
Yeah, like what he was saying, like, he was saying basically the entire game they're kind of like just letting that ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
letting it ride.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how you should play.
And why
because
wouldn't
it's the
you
biggest
keep
game.
letting it ride? It wasn't even that noticeable.
Like,
yeah,
it's just if it was preposterous, like he's like like dragging him to the ground,
then you got to call it. But you don't have to call that play. And not only that though, Jalen Hurts played an amazing game. You have to give him a chance for that 2-minute drive. You just have to. It makes TV look better. It makes the game look better. You have to give him that opportunity.
It's unfortunate. I mean, he was that Hail Mary attempt so underthrown. We didn't even go in.
It
wasn't the best.
Definitely.
If you look back at the play, I mean, I don't even think Juju thought twice about it, because he's just still like running.
Yeah,
exactly. He's not looking for a foul.
Yeah, of course. Like,
he just got it.
Exactly, and It just sucks. I hate it. I hate that so much. It just feels like the last couple of years has always just been one like just preposterous call. Mm-hmm. Every postseason, that's just kind of like, dog.
You
if
can't
this
call
didn't happen,
that.
it didn't get called when it should have been a no call or it should have been called. Like, you know, and it normally has like some type of like really lasting like impact on the rest of the season, either for that team or just for the rest of like the outlook of the playoffs for the rest of it. So again, it just sucks, but you know, again, overall, I'm pretty pleased with the Super Bowl.
No, I gotta agree with you. I mean, there's not too many things to complain about besides that. I feel like the pacing was well. Both teams were in it very neck and neck the entire game.
Yes.
I mean, we got a whole spill of offense and defense that you can't really complain about. Special teams did their thing as well. So
can we recognize how running backs don't get the love that they deserve? I mean, look at this Super Bowl. Isaiah had an amazing Super Bowl. Scott had a great Super Bowl. Miles Sanders didn't show up, but the other Eagle running back showed up. Jalen Hurts. I mean, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns as a QB. Breaking the Super Bowl record is amazing, astonishing.
Insane. And then another record that was broken was the Kadarius Clowney with the
Tony.
Man, he has ACLs. Man, I don't even think he has ACLs. Did you see the play? He is. It's amazing.
He is Houdini.
Yeah, but like you said, and this kind of sucks because like there's been like kind of this trend of where running backs in general in the league has just been kind of more of a dime a dozen type of thing.
Yeah.
To where like so many like teams, especially championship winning teams, they don't really have like a running back making over like I don't know $3 million, $4 million a year, which is kind of tough. And like I really hate that because there's so many dominant backs in the league to where like they should be able to be on these teams and contribute to a high amount, but also what comes with that is just wear and tear on the body, from a back standpoint, especially when you're going that deep into the playoffs, and then if you play every snap, going into like the playoffs, it just feels like that kind of wears off. But still, it's just tough. I want to see like a Super Bowl where I see like one good back just run through everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see
maybe in the 90s. But
exactly.
You don't really see that anymore.
As a running back, running back right now, for opinion, as me, I just feel like watching that Super Bowl gave a lot of running backs the opportunity and the chance, like, man, we can dominate at the next level. We can dominate at the Super Bowl level. Because, I mean, seeing Isaiah, I mean, we're going to keep going back to Isaiah, but, man, he's a 7th-round pick. Didn't even have 1,000 yards in his rushing season of his senior year at Rutgers. And just, man, look what he did at the biggest stages. Or even a 5'6" running back, Scott. Man, didn't get no opportunity. I mean, he went to your Saints and y'all cut him. So, y'all cut him.
We didn't need him, to be fair.
Y'all cut him, and then he finally got his opportunity with the Eagles, and he's dominating. So, man, it's just really amazing to see these backs keep dominating at the next level, and I think it's a lot of upcoming backs that are appreciative of this Super Bowl.
Word. And just, like, this game in general, just, like, from the back standpoint, like you said, QB standpoint, just, these two teams over the next 5 years are going to be dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Kansas City already has proven to be dangerous. They're going to continue to be dangerous. They have, one of the best cores and tandems, duos in the league offensively. Yeah. And then just a fantastic culture and coaching, fantastic, they going to be set. They're already a dynasty in my eyes, and I feel like they're going to continue to be a problem for the rest of the league for the foreseeable future. Yeah. And this Eagles team, the way Jalen Hurts been playing, and like I kind of been saying, like, we haven't seen like a dual threat QB actually have weapons around him in the league for a long time.
We did, yeah.
And so when you have a person like A.J. Brown, when you have, a fantastic offensive line, when you have, running backs like Miles Sanders, even though he didn't show up, just, guys that can make plays, Devontae Smith, like they have so many guys that can, do stuff around the ball instead of just at the quarterback position where the quarterback doesn't have to carry literally everything on his arms and legs.
Yeah.
So just fantastic play from in general. I think like the Eagles, they should be back in the next couple of years, if not next year. They have so many, good teams that they have to go through, but I do feel like they are fully equipped for, just, fantastic run in the next couple of seasons. This is just, kind of the birth, I think, of like a fantastic team.
Yeah. Can we finally give Can we finally give Jalen Hurts his respect? I mean,
I've been respecting him.
Honestly,
I don't know why some people don't.
We keep downing him. We saying he's not good. We saying that he's a backup at Alabama. We saying all these terrible takes.
At Alabama
one more time,
I swear. Like
all these terrible takes, and on the biggest stage of his career, he played amazing. I mean, what faults can you give him besides the fumble? What faults can you give him?
Exactly.
He played amazing. So let's put some respect on his name. And I think he has put his name into the top 10 quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks right now.
Oh, easily.
And maybe we could give top 6 to 7, depending on the next year. But man,
I definitely agree. Like I just fantastic. I was always kind of like wait and see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the Eagles front office played it amazingly to where like, okay, if this is our guy, we don't really know yet, but we're going to give you weapons. We're going to give you the team and stuff. And it is all on you. You have the full ability. You have a bunch of guys with ability to make plays, be fantastic playmakers on any given play. A lot of these guys can get 15-plus yards.
Yeah.
So, you have the tools. We trust you. Here's the keys and stuff. And he took the keys to the castle, and he ran with it, and, like, literally with 3 rushing touchdowns.
That's amazing.
He's dominant, man.
Fantastic. That was dominant. I think what you say, it was dominant.
I mean, I think Jalen Hurts has just proven himself. If he was healthy the last couple of weeks, he's the MVP. If you really want to consider it,
that's a good take.
I would agree with it. You know what I mean? I think voter fatigue is a bit of a real thing and stuff, and I think they kind of like, not that it was like, man, here you go type of reward for Patrick Mahomes, but still, I do think it would have been like a really much more closer competition, even though it was close still, but much more closer if Jalen Hurts stayed completely healthy throughout the end of the season. But yeah, I think
that this Super Bowl also showed that the Eagles, like the Bears, please look at what the Eagles have done. We have the Justin Fields type of quarterback. Please give him some weapons.
Kyler Murray.
Please. I mean, we got the number 1 draft pick coming up. Please go get us some weapons, man. That's all we asking for. Just look at what the Eagles have done with their quarterback.
That's true. Hey, got Claypool though. Hey, there you go.
For a first.
Listen.
Come on. Really?
Was it a first?
Chase?
It was something like that.
That was a second round that we could be using right now.
Man, that was awful.
Golly.
What did Chase do? Chase hasn't done anything since we not drafted him, since we acquired him.
The Bears didn't win a game with
we didn't. On
roster.
That's absolutely insane.
Ridiculous.
I think he had like 6 catches. I think we had 6 catches like this whole season with the Bears.
It's
ridiculous. Why he don't even fit our scheme that we're trying to build?
In
my opinion,
I respect the attempt from the front office, but dog,
come on, man.
Like, you know what I mean?
Justin Fields running out like a chicken with his head cut off because he got no receivers. Exactly. I mean, the O-line
blockers
is poor.
He's trying his best, man. He's trying his best. He
David Montgomery out the door probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He should be the king of the North here soon, but really, it's just again, like you said, it's just weapons. Front office. Just look at what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles is doing. Just try
give
to
him some weapons.
Give him something. He can do it.
Well, they tried with Claypool and that didn't work out.
Claypool and weapons.
It made sense.
They don't go together.
You remember when he said, "I'm a top 3 wide receiver"?
You know what? I like the mentality.
I don't like the mentality.
The game don't back it up. Like what you do between the lines. Come on now.
Come on, man. Pick it up.
It's ridiculous.
One thing I wanted to talk about before we switch on over to NBA.
Yeah.
One more final time on the NFL. ESPN and a lot of other outlets have already gone through their early NFL predictions for 2023, like they always do every year. And, of course, you guessed the top 2, Chiefs 1, Eagles 2. Now, can they match that same thing? I think the Chiefs, you can give Patrick Mahomes a broomstick, and he'll still somehow get the ball to him. I think the Chiefs are easily going to be the team to run through with tough competitors, whether it be the Bengals, the Bills, see what the Jets do. I mean, there's a lot of good AFC teams. Jacksonville's going to get better. Chargers are getting better. Like, there's so much competition thrown in the mix. And then when you look at the NFC with the Eagles, they got a lot of question marks. I mean, they got to save some money up for Hurts. I mean, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, just names like that.
They have to pay up.
They got to, figure that out. And I think they made a very good decision in trading for Chauncey. I mean, James Bradbury, the guy who just, kind of cost you that Super Bowl, he's also a free agent. They got a lot of things to worry about. And can they match that? Absolutely. They have the offensive firepower.
Yeah.
Just see what the defense can bring with it.
I have to agree.
So, I mean, now let's talk about NBA.
Hold on. Before we talk about NBA real quick, how many rings does Patrick Mahomes have to get for we to consider him the GOAT?
GOAT?
The GOAT.
The GOAT?
I think right now, talent level, he's better than Brady already. Talent level. I'm not saying winning level, but talent level.
The GOAT? It's not even like a ring thing, I don't think. I think just Mahomes just has to keep up the pace. Because when you think about it, he's been in either the AFC Championship or
for 5
Super Bowl
straight years, the AFC Championship.
Every year he's been playing, besides obviously his rookie year when he was back with Alex Smith. But the fact is, he has been consistent. 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time league MVP, 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
That's true.
This man is crazy. I think ultimately, if you just keep on, he showed us the first 5 years. Let me see what he does the next 5 years, and then we might have our answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I already had to unfortunately admit this, and he's better than Breeze.
Oh,
and I don't want to.
Come on, y'all.
No,
we've been
it
through
took,
that. All the viewers
it took
hear
the
that.
second Super Bowl for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
like, I mean,
he's top 3, top 4.
For me,
Breeze is 5.
I think what Patrick Mahomes needs to do is just make sure that he just stays on this trajectory. I mean, he's making plays, he's making these, fantastic, historic, record-breaking, seasons and runs and the playoffs and everything. I feel like you just keep on with this thing, like you said, next 5 years. Honestly, I think he could do it in the next 3.
Yeah.
To, depending on how those shake out, I feel like he can 100%, be in that conversation, if not the person.
How many MVPs did Brady have? Was it 5, 6?
Oh, I don't know.
Quick Google search for my man Joe, but I mean, going off like your point for years, I wouldn't really consider it a year thing. It's just the production value of what he.
I think his production value is as much. He only has 3.
Brady only ever had 3.
3.
That race closer than what it looks like.
That's actually crazy.
I think that the Patrick Mahomes Brady debate is like the LeBron James Jordan debate. Because it's literally the same thing. We're literally arguing the same thing. Jordan has the more wins, the more records, but LeBron has the more talented player. Yeah, and I think Mahomes is a more talented player than Brady.
It also helps when you have the mobility thrown in there.
Yeah, his athleticism is way better than Brady's. So
I think it would be interesting to note in a few years whether, because obviously Brady had Belichick, and Brady won without Belichick.
Oh yeah,
is Reed gonna stick around for who knows how much longer?
I'm Reed. I'm sticking around. You got the greatest quarterback of all time behind you. I mean, he's gonna just keep stacking up.
I mean, who knows about him? He doesn't really want to be there. He wants to be a head coach, and no one offering him.
That's a good point.
Why do you think no one's offering him?
Because he has Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely, it's only because of Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying I think we talked about it on Sports Extra a lot. I think he should have been the Colts head coach. I think he's a good quality head coach. It's just, unfortunately, with what is around him, the talent doesn't go towards Bieniemy. He's not getting the credit.
Yeah.
It's the Mahomes magic. Right. That's why maybe Bieniemy should consider looking around, going to somewhere else
and be
as an
OC. Yeah.
To push the narrative, like, hey, I just took this team. We're still great offense. There's no Mahomes. I mean, he could definitely be a head coach.
I think that would be a smart move for him, like 100%. I think, in that pretty much same breath, like, if Patrick Mahomes goes somewhere else, sometime in his career and does like a Tom Brady or does like, takes another team, like differently constructed team to, this Super Bowl greatness, I feel like it's pretty much undisputed at that point. Because, right, like you said, I already feel like Patrick Mahomes is a better talent than Tom Brady. You know what I mean? There's a reason that Tom Brady went, like, 7th round or something like that? Like, 6th round. Like, there's a reason for that. Just because physically he's not really that dominant. He's just a fantastic mind for the game and just a fantastic competitor. He just, like you said, like Michael Jordan. Like, he just has that mind. He has that competitive nature and that mentality. But just Patrick Mahomes just comes from an era where, like, his, genetically fantastic. And then just going into, just the,
his arm talent.
Yeah, arm talent, conditioning, sports science and all that stuff just kind of like, just made this, superhuman, that can just, slang the rock and have all these fantastic acrobatic throws and all this stuff and able to use his legs and just have so much like duality and just like complexity to this game on top of just being a physical talent. I just feel like it's really there for Patrick Mahomes. All he has to do is just keep on this trajectory.
Yeah, I also think that Patrick Mahomes shows a lot of other young quarterbacks that's growing up that they can become a Patrick Mahomes type of player. I mean, Brady, you don't have to have the physical strength and appearance, but Brady's mind is ridiculous, and it's very hard to get to that level. But Patrick Mahomes shows that hard work does matter, and that he's not the biggest guy in the room. Patrick Mahomes is not 6'5", 6'6". Yeah. He's a 6'2", probably 6'1" without shoes, honestly. He's not physically in shape, really. Like, he's not, like, swole. He's more just an average-looking guy, but he put his arms – he worked consistently, and I think that younger quarterbacks look up to Patrick Mahomes like, yeah, I can beat Patrick Mahomes if I put in the work. So I think that that's going to be the reason that's going to tilt over his GOAT debate.
I mean, that's the ideal quarterback you want to have and you want to become if you're a young quarterback.
Yeah, it's a Patrick Mahomes.
Be, high school, college.
If you're trying to be Tom Brady, you have to be like a level of insanity. Like Tom Brady like Jordan. Is crazy. Like exactly, Jordan is crazy. That is a crazy human being. So having that level of insanity is probably not the healthiest for most people in like lifestyles and mentalities and stuff. No. But like if you're a competitive athlete with a couple of physical gifts and stuff, that's just fantastic. But yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes, like you guys are saying, is probably a much more better player to look at if you're a young QB.
Absolutely. And like I said, just give him time. I can't give you a straight up answer until I want to see him play without Andy Reid or Bieniemy.
True.
Probably Bieniemy first, because who knows? I mean, Reid might contemplate retirement. I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He's been an absolute dog wherever he's coached at throughout his career. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
For sure.
Is it NBA time now?
Yes, it is.
All right, CJ. Sir. Let's talk about it. LeBron James, now the league scorer, NBA leading scorer of all time, with, what was it, a fadeaway shot at the free throw line?
Fadeaway,
You should get that thing tattooed on your bicep.
I might as well. I think exactly. I'm putting it like right there.
Thomas Bryant.
Exactly.
Thomas Bryant went for the ball, and that's why he's traded out.
That's why he got
you want the
ball?
Get out of here. Go to Denver. You have a better chance there.
Epic moment. I love that.
But his fadeaway, it kind of resembles Jordan fadeaway a little bit. I think that was a diss to Jordan to pass him, But maybe I be looking too deep into it. But
you LeBron fans have just like this cult of like trying to embarrass Jordan in some way.
Yeah,
all the time. I wake up and say, dang, how can I embarrass Jordan today?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to.
I need to be part of that group chat. I just need to see it.
That's the first question. But, like, my question to you, CJ, is what does this record mean for LeBron, you think? And where does this, like, is this, like, the moment that people will be like, okay, he's the GOAT? Or is this a moment where it's just like, okay, just another accolade of LeBron that, doesn't really prove how good of a player he is?
I think this record means it just shows his longevity. I mean, being in the league 20 years and still dominant, still averaging 30 points a game is ridiculous. I mean, it shows that he's the true GOAT, because what guy do you know that's in year 20 that could even put up 10 points? That's still a rotational player. Mm-hmm. And I think that this record shows that a lot of people give LeBron the hate that, oh, he's not clutch, or he's not a scorer, or he's not this, or he's not that. But how can you not be a scorer and you're the greatest scorer of all time statistically?
That's the thing that kills me.
Like, what? How are you not a scorer?
They're just haters. They don't want to live with the fact that LeBron is actually the best.
What ESPN has done to LeBron's legacy in like the early, like mid to like early, like
2010,
yeah, exactly,
2012
should be like.
It should be documented.
They should be documented. I need a 30 for 30, not by ESPN, but like, by somebody else. I need like, Adam Silver or the NBA to like go out and be like, okay, now listen, this is ridiculous, because like LeBron should have more MVPs by now. He should have a Defensive Player of the Year right now.
How do you let Marc Gasol win Defensive Player of the Year and he was a second team on the defensive team?
Like, exactly.
That
basically
makes
saying
sense.
There's a better defensive player. Like, what? He should 100% have those two things, and he should 100% have the respect of just being a gifted scorer. Like, LeBron, let's be honest. LeBron could probably average like 30-plus points for pretty much every year of his career. But, like, LeBron is too good of a basketball player to know that, like, okay, just averaging a bunch of points isn't going to win us basketball games. So that's why he's not always going to have like, this fantastic scoring outage, but he's always going to be able to be a threat scorer. You always have to put game plan for him. And plus you're always going to have to understand that LeBron is going to make the right play pretty much every single time.
Yeah.
He's just going to make the right basketball play. I remember it was like, who was it? It was like he does like announcing. He's a color commentator for a lot of games. He was he was an old coach.
Mark Jackson.
Van Gundy.
Van Gundy. Thank you.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Yep.
I remember it was like
either
a
Jeff
clip.
or Stan.
Exactly.
Stan, maybe.
It's one of them. He was basically saying like at the podium, and he was like going against LeBron in the series. He was just like, you know what? He's just impossible to game plan for. Like, you know, you double him, he makes the right play. You know, you play face up, he's going to score. You like literally, you know, I think it was like game 2 or 3 after that was like he was making that quote on. He like saw him, played against him, had personnel to like, you know, quote unquote defend him.
Yeah.
He still just didn't know what to do. And that's this is why he's just such a fantastic scorer and player, just because nobody really knows how to stop LeBron.
I mean,
you can put up a wall, don't work.
Exactly. Let's look at the fact that Andre Iguodala got Finals MVP for holding LeBron James to 33 points a game.
Yep.
Well, how does that happen?
Exactly. They were like,
he got Finals MVP for averaging 30. He held him to 33 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds.
Held him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on. And he locked him up. What's the definition of lock up? That's locking up. And what is the definition?
That's kind of what it is. I mean, like, it's, you know, what LeBron James has been able to do, not being able to really be stopped. And like when stopped in like a lot in the final sense for him is just being held to, like you said, 33 points per game, having a bunch of assists, rebounding, like, you know, leading the team to a couple of wins.
I still think if they had a healthy team 2015, they're running away with back-to-back championships.
They really should have. They really should have, man. It's
it makes us sad.
It's crazy. But again, just LeBron, I just feel like this is a moment where he can, you know, just another one of his just many legacies and stuff. And this is kind of one of those legacies to where, like, you can't deny this. You can't. You can say, oh, you know, this championship isn't valid because this one.
It's
and
the
then
Mickey
this
Mouse
person,
ring.
Exactly. This player was injured, blah, 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 blah. You can say all that BS you want. But, like, the fact of the matter is the boy is averaging, you know, for a career, 20-plus year career, 27 points per game averaging and got that scoring title. That's the only thing you can say.
And, like, what is Jordan's debate now? That's why I make it when you ask me that question. And, like, Jordan's debate is getting really, really small. Mm-hmm. You guys say he's a better scorer, but, I mean, LeBron's the greatest scorer of all time, technically, statistically right now. I mean, you never say he's a better passer, so we could get that out the way. Defender, I mean, it depends because Jordan played, you know, passing lanes and was the third best defender on his team, his legacy, compared to LeBron James, who locked up prime MVP roles, locked up a lot of guys. So, I mean, where is your debate coming from now? So, I think that this record has helped him tremendously, and I think if he gives one more ring, it's undeniable that he's the GOAT. Like, everybody's going to say he's the GOAT.
For sure.
But, I mean, I think this record is huge for him. Tremendous.
I agree with you, too. I mean, it's just pushing the narrative that he is better than Jordan. Mm-hmm. And I hope that this is a wake-up call to, you know, the average NBA fan or the diehard fan, when you really think about it, who are just, like, riding the back of Jordan. Yeah. I mean, it's time to get off. It's time to leave. Clean that thing off and get back on.
I don't know about get off. I'll say, like, again, I do think, like, what Michael did was just fantastic. Like, cats is still eating them based on what Michael Jordan did, like, 20-plus years ago. Like, you know what I mean? If we gonna be honest. But I will say, like, I feel like it's close. I feel like 100% LeBron is just a better. I think LeBron's a better person. I think LeBron's a better player. I think, like, basketball player wise, but I just think, like, again, that, you know, like, I grew up in the barbershop again. Like, you know, everybody would say Michael Jordan just had that dog in him. LeBron just don't got that dog in him. I don't know.
LeBron has the most clutch shots in the playoffs, but he don't have that dog in him. Like, where are these stats coming from?
It's insane. So, like, again,
it's just the storytelling.
I understand, like, the Michael Jordan debate. I understand the LeBron debate. But at the same time, it's just you have to understand, like, both these guys kind of played in different eras, and it's very easy to compare eras. But, like, it's very hard in a sense because you have to understand, like, context between, like, not only, like, culture of the NBA, because LeBron probably played, honestly, if we're going to be honest, right now is probably the most talented the NBA has ever been, period.
100% agree.
And so, you know, you have to understand, like, he also played in an era where people were, like, team hopping, you know, join super team here, super team there.
We're going to talk about that, though.
And so, like, you know, there's a lot of context, a whole lot of context. Don't get me wrong, the golden age of basketball was the 90s. But still, if we're going to be honest, like, you know, a lot of those teams, like, you got drafted there, you're going to end your career there. Like, you're not going to move teams and, like, join this player and, like, you know, that's just not how it is.
Can we admit that the 90s, like, yes, they were talented and yes, they are the reason why the NBA is so good now. But a lot of them guys would not compete in this league today. 2/3 of them players in the 90s would not compete in the league today.
It just depends who it is. Like, are we talking, like, like stars, or are we just talking like role
in general
players?
Role players? I don't think
give me a star.
A star that wouldn't compete. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great question.
Because you're not taking away like defense of like Hakeem, passing of Stockton, but at the same time,
do you think Stockton getting away from these point guards now though? I mean, come on.
Stockton would get cooked. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
But he would get cooked. Now.
Who is
he's standing in front of Dame Lillard?
He's not standing in front of
Is he standing in front of prime Russell Westbrook?
Granted, he was a decent defender in his day.
He was a good
defender.
He
was a decent defender. I think he's like all-time steals leader or something like that, or something close to it.
And look at his stats. He's like another Fred VanVleet.
But like, I just can't see John Stockton at the most like talented position in the NBA. Just really like being
sitting
a top
down,
whatever player in the league. And stuff
I don't
like
see that.
I just don't know. It's debatable. Again, people always kind of argue about John Stockton. And granted, the Jazz kind of like ruined their own kind of legacy just based on who John Stockton is and who Karl Malone is. I don't even want to get into that. So you know what I mean? It's just. Again.
But just like what you said, like another star. I mean, look at Clyde Drexler. Do you think that he's the same Clyde? No, he doesn't have no left hand. No left hand.
Oh man, what's that dude? Dominique.
He's just a normal. Whoa, we can't say Dominique. I think Dominique can compete.
I don't know because Dominique Wilkins was a hooper. He just wasn't really a good like. I can see Dominique Wilkins being like averaging maybe like 33, 34 points in this league, but I'm not sure if he's actually going to be winning basketball.
No.
I feel like he's going to be like a Trae Young in my eyes. It was just funny because they both played for the Hawks. But I feel like they just like, people who's going to get a lot of stats and go look, they're going to look nice and stuff, but are they actually going to win? I don't know. But like, just to kind of just a testament to how like talented the NBA is, I always look at Grant Hill. Because Grant Hill was like, how tall was Grant Hill? Like
6'8",
6'7", 8.
Yeah, exactly. That tall dude, you know what I mean? Dang near almost, could play power forward center. He could do left, right, and the league didn't know what to do. He came in the league knowing how to do that. They ain't know what the heck to do. Every single person and their mama in the NBA now can do what Grant Hill does at pretty much every size that you can think of. Like, I just can't imagine a lot of these people really understanding and like, really just grasping like how hard it is to defend in this league, how hard it is to play offense in this league. It's just hard because everybody's a super athlete. Everybody's quick on their feet. Their lateral first step is just going to get you, slipping. And then plus the spacing, everybody can shoot.
Yeah, you'll get cooked today if you don't play defense. You will get cooked and you will get exposed.
I don't know.
I have the 75th anniversary team.
Okay.
There's a couple of names on here that I don't think would do good.
Give me a
number one, probably being Rick Barry.
Rick Barry would get abused.
Rick Barry would not make it.
Think about Rick Barry against Giannis.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous.
Rick Barry's definitely in there. I'm not sure about him.
Who else?
I saw Nate Archibald. I mean, he was small for his size. John Havlicek.
Nate Archibald.
John Havlicek.
Come on, y'all.
Who did he play for?
Havlicek?
Havlicek, yeah.
He played for a lot of different teams.
Didn't he play for the Celtics?
Celtics, and I think
he.
I want to say he played for Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna be like that. I'm sure like Robert Parrish might make it. Patrick Ewing, again, a lot of those.
It's a different game now.
It was a very, very different game. And that's kind of like what makes it hard. But at the same time, I feel like. Patrick Ewing, if you just place him in that league today, put him on the free agency block in his prime and stuff, I feel like he would get some nods and stuff, but I just feel like he wouldn't be a top, 5'6" center in the league. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep it a buck. I just don't think he's a
small center now. I mean, exactly. He was 6'9". You're not doing them post-up moves on these dudes like Embiid, Jokic. Like, these are big dudes.
Like, Embiid is probably 2, 3, 4 inches taller than him. And he's able to, get out on the – he just – step back threes. Come on, y'all. It's just hard, again, just with that mentality just to be placed in the league. But, again, it's just hard. You know what I mean?
So with that topic, do you think the 2017 Warriors beat the 01 Lakers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that the 2017 Warriors beat the Lakers in 6.
I don't think
maybe 5.
I mean, the Pistons beat them.
The Shaq is going. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about because Shaq was so dominant in that time period that I don't think like anybody in the league that, you know, past, present, or future could probably like stop, you know, Shaq. But I do think, like, you know, if you look at like what the Pistons did and like what was it, 04 or 05?
Yeah, 04, yeah.
You know, with Ben Wallace and stuff like that, you know, and you basically have like, you know, not a Ben Wallace, but you have somebody who's like very skilled, as defensively skilled as Ben Wallace, as, you know, Draymond Green. And, you know, he's, you know, probably even more intelligent wise, you know, defensive IQ. I think he's probably better than Ben Wallace. But like you have him, then you have like, you know, obviously threats. KD, you know, who's going to stop? Who's going to stop Clay? Who's going to stop, you know, Steph? Who's going to stop KD? And who's going to stop all three of them at the same time?
Not. Right?
You know what I mean? That's what
I just think the spacing. I don't think Shaq can compete on the other end defensively. Exactly. I mean, his offense, he'll probably have 30 and 10 with an L. Mm-hmm. Because who can he guard on the court? I mean, if you put Draymond Green, you also got to think of 3 seconds of defense. 3 seconds defense. So because of that, he can't stay in the paint the whole time. So he has to guard out. The Warriors had an offense where they were moving the ball consistently. I think he gets tired. He gets wore out. Mm-hmm. And I think that he has a lot of fouls in the first half.
Don't tell him that. He wouldn't believe it.
And, man, I think it wouldn't be pretty for Shaq. Yeah. And I love Shaq, but it wouldn't be pretty for Shaq.
Yeah, I know. It's just, again, like, just a lot of points, probably posted a mess out of a couple of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But still, you know, I just think that's going to be a losing effort. Again, you know, Kobe wasn't even Kobe. He was still nice. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But, like, you know, he wasn't even Kobe to that point yet. So, like, you know, Shaq was obviously the number one guy on that team. So, again, you have him, and then you have Kobe, who's still maturing, having to guard like KD, Curry, and Clay, and, you know, being able to guard them and be productive on the offensive end. I just can't.
Now, what if you threw 2010 Kobe in there, or 07 Kobe for the 81 points?
I feel like it would be closer, but I still would probably give it to.
Yeah, it would be closer, but definitely still Warriors.
I mentioned a guard in Nate Archibald. I mentioned a forward in Rick Barry, but if there's a big man that would not compete in today's NBA, Kevin McHale. Easily not. Yeah, I mean, he was he was Larry's right-hand man.
I'm not falling for it, yeah.
I just don't see it.
I think he'll be solid on some teams, but like I just don't think he's going to be like top set.
Embiid dog him.
Yeah, he's getting cooked. Jokic is cooking him. I mean, he's going to get embarrassed.
I love Jokic, man. I love Jokic. Don't get me started on Jokic. We haven't even got into like, you know, Jokic talk yet. When we do, because it's just going to happen eventually, and once we get into like the playoffs and everything, I can't wait. Because I have so many like I think he's generational. I think he's so good. But yeah, you want to get into some trades, man?
Yeah, we got a few more minutes left on here. We can talk about some of the biggest trades.
Oh, already talked to Boss Man. He said that we can be on here as long as we want. So I'm just saying.
Cool with me. Mm-hmm. I don't know about y'all, but I got another job after this.
Oh, fair. All right.
We can do a little bit after.
Exactly.
I'll give you a wink when it's time.
For sure.
Suns. They got Kevin Durant. This man, obviously a dog. Kevin Durant, TJ Warren going to Phoenix. The Nets got a haul. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, in like 2023, 25, 27. Those firsts from Phoenix. A 28 first-round pick swap from Phoenix. 28, 29 seconds from Milwaukee. And another 29 first-round picks. So, and in total, 4 unprotected firsts with a pick swap. So this is make or break for Phoenix. They're really banking on that championship. The Bucks got Jay Crowder, and the Pacers got George Hill, Jordan Nwora, and the GOAT Serge Ibaka. So with 3 future seconds and cash, but none of this matters to any of those other 3 teams. Maybe the Bucks. Jay Crowder would be nice for them to come playoff time, but specifically Kevin Durant joining up with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. It's gonna hurt that they lost their defense with Bridges and their young talent of Johnson. But I think Kevin Durant is going to match it. And this might be the team to run through in the West. No offense.
I remember it was Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. I was, we had, a nice little outing with some of the radio people, bowling and stuff. Really good. Played 3 games. Played like trash. I hate bowling. But,
I do too. I'm so bad.
It was, but it was, a fun time. And then after, I was like, let me get this quick little pump in and go to the, workout and stuff. And so, like, by that time, it's like I get back, it's around like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Oh, you got home late.
And so, like, I'm about to, hop in the shower right quick, be out like a light. And then I see this notification from Woj on my phone talking about some KD to the Suns. Physically, mentally, spiritually even, I could not respond to it.
I can't comprehend
I couldn't muster enough, no good juju for me to actually express how
but you're already tired, about to go to bed, and then you're like,
"What?
Whoa!"
I said, "I'm going to
woke
sleep.
me up.
I'm going to sleep. I will return to this in the morning." And my goodness, when I woke up, I screamed because it was real. I think this is probably the biggest trade deadline trade ever.
Agreed.
Easy. And I think this is just, first of all, from the Nets perspective, really, really good job on what you've done with KD, right? To all the crazy stuff that's happened, you kind of gave KD the keys, which I don't agree with, but still, I mean, you kind of did, treated him right because he wasn't really ultimately the problem at the end of the day. Right, he was able to score. He was able to lead this team almost past the Bucks, who ended up being the championship. Winning the chip.
Exactly.
And then you still tried to put pieces around him. You put pieces around him. You had all these guys, all these signings, all these trades. You did him the best, and then he tried to do you the what he did on the court. So you get him to a team that he wants to go to. Fantastic. Good. Plus points for that. Also, the biggest, from an NBA sense, the pick haul in this one, huge.
Absolutely.
You have the entirety of the Suns' future.
Yeah.
You have, you know what I mean? You have, Mikal Bridges, who you can keep or trade, you know what I mean? If you flip him, I remember seeing reports that Mikal Bridges was there was teams offering 3-4 picks for him. You know what I mean?
I saw the Grizzlies.
Exactly.
Trying to get him.
You can flip him easily in the off season and stuff, and get even more picks if you really want to. Jay Crowder, you already flipped him for some pieces, and then Cameron Johnson. I would he's probably going to be on this roster for a little bit, but still, even him, you could probably flip if you want to. So not just this trade alone, but just kind of going forward, this is just going to be a really, really good situation for the Nets. And then from the Suns' perspective, you get obviously KD. It sucks losing Mikal Bridges. He was a big personality in the locker room, a person that a lot of people guys kind of the glue. I imagine him as the dream role player. He does everything you want a role player to do. You know what I mean?
Shoots the 3-ball good
he can
defensive.
Even pass a little bit.
He can pass, yeah.
He's a dream guy, a fantastic guy in the locker room, dream role player, right? And unfortunately, you lose him. Jay Crowder didn't even want to play for you, so that's just whatever.
Which is so weird.
I don't know. I get it. He's old. I don't know. But and then you have Cameron Johnson and stuff. He was a nice little young piece or whatever. But again, you bring KD, and not even just KD. TJ Warren off the bench. Really, really good person to have. So, again, just fantastic from both sides. I'm looking at the Bleacher Report article. Gave them both an A. I would say I would give them both an A, too. I think they were just a fantastic trade.
So, my story. So, I went to sleep before the news dropped, and I was lifting. I had my early morning lifts like we always do. And I checked my phone, and normally my group chat doesn't buzz in the morning. But I look and I see 20 new messages. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I look and I see Kevin Durant, and I was so sick to my stomach. I almost dropped to my knees at the weight room because
I fell down to my knees.
I dropped down to my knees when I see this. But the reason why I just feel like as a LeBron fan and as just NBA fan, LeBron breaks the scoring record. We get some pieces. It's looking promising. And then KD wants to assemble the Avengers. Come on, bro. LeBron is not Thanos. It's year 20. It's year 20. He's 38. So when I seen that, I was just man, only KD. But I think he was saying, for the Suns, this is a great move for them. I mean, Chris Paul is coming to the end of his career. He needs a championship. Devin Booker is getting into the prime of his career. He has been having hamstring injuries, but I think that's going to all change when he has Kevin Durant next to him. And Kevin Durant has come to the end of his career. I think that the West was very open. I mean, not compared to Ja Morant. He thinks he's fine in the West, but I don't think so anymore. But that's beyond the point.
Not anymore.
Age like milk. Age like milk.
Badly. So I think that the Suns made a great deal with this. But the winners of this trade, which is going to be surprising, is the Nets. I mean, they aren't bad on paper. I mean, I don't think that they're a championship contender team, but they have 3-point shooters. They have defenders. They have wing players. I mean, they fit perfectly together. It's just they don't have a star. I don't think that
Ben Simmons.
Stop it. Stop it. I think that Brooklyn would be a great spot for a star free agent to go to. They're one star away, and that's a really good team. And they have picks. I mean, Joe said it perfectly. I think that the Brooklyn Nets, don't sleep on them. I mean, they made some mistakes these last couple years, but I think that they did really good with this trade. So I'm excited to see how Brooklyn does, and I'm excited to see how Kevin Durant does, but LeBron's still to go.
Yeah, one more point, just to your point real quick. I think the Nets have no reason to be bad. They don't even own their picks. So they have no reason to be bad. Let's establish a culture of, competing, winning, and just having like a good like locker room culture. Obviously, you get kind of a fresh slate because Kyrie's not there, because KD's not there, because James Harden's not there. Yeah. You get a fresh slate. You have a nice little role players. Again, like you said, if they like free up some cap and stuff, they gonna be dangerous. If they stick with this team, relatively how it's constructed now, in the next, not this coming one, but in the next free agency class, they can easily pull somebody or like make a really good run for a restricted free agent and then bring somebody nice to the Nets.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they'd be stupid not to take this trade. I mean, it made all sense in the world. With Kyrie asking, you're like, okay, here's the thing, KD. I know you want to be here. You might want to play here, but now we're going to do the better thing for you. Yeah. And he's probably having that conversation with him as well. I mean, going back to even when Kyrie requested a trade back in the offseason, Kevin Durant kind of, he was contempt here, but I think he knew just as much as anybody it wasn't going to work out. Yeah. But now Kevin Durant and the Suns, this is definitely betting on your short-term success, because if this doesn't work out, man, Chris Paul gets no ring, KD and the Suns organization, who just got a new owner literally last week and made this move, blows my mind.
I like it. I love it.
Starting off hot. I like
Devin Booker, I mean, he's going to be good for many years, but they're not going to get a lot of help besides without going through free agency.
Yeah, exactly. And like Phoenix isn't really a free agent destination either.
Yeah. So this is definitely Phoenix short term, this year to next year, maybe the year after that, depending on how it all works out the first or 2 years. But then you really want to spin around and go back to the Nets, where they do build their early history, but they're just built. They're kind of pulling a Celtics when they fleece them. With the whole Paul Pierce KD sort of thing, because they got all those first-round picks, and now look at Boston, always consistent top 2 in the East. The Nets, who are about 3 or 4 now, have the structure. Do they keep Miguel Bridges? I think they're going to trade him. I mean, there's just no need for him. Ben Simmons, no one really wants him. He just doesn't fit in the NBA right now, unless he can't even fit himself into his playing role.
Hey, listen, the thing with Ben Simmons is, I do think that we've seen, like, I guess a couple of flashes of old Ben Simmons, just a couple, like a handful here and there throughout this season. I do think that, like, next year around this time, we might be sitting back and be like, okay, old Ben Simmons is pretty much himself again. Because, like, it's so much mystery around Ben Simmons and, like, really what's going on, not only with his body but his head. He had to get, like, what was it called? Like when an epidural in his back because he had so much back pain in the offseason. He had like a legit injury, which I don't even know how it happens. Like but anyway, like I just feel like, with his like unknown about his injury, and let's just take it at face value that he had a significant injury to his back. If, like, say he gets healed, he has an opportunity to, like, a lot of room and a lot of, like, really good players around him to just kind of grow and just play good basketball and stuff. I can easily see even, like, maybe by the end of this season to where, like, we'd be like, okay, Ben Simmons is about to be, pretty much himself again. But again, Ben Simmons is kind of like, Kyrie. He's kind of like KD. He's kind of like one of these, star players without having the talent. It just feels like we don't know. He's so unpredictable. We don't know what's going on in his head. He don't really speak a lot. Whenever he speaks, we're just kind of like, dog, come on. So, again, I don't know. We'll see.
I think easily, if you were to give a grade for everyone involved, I mean, it don't really matter. Like the Bucks, give them a B because they got another guy added on for the Milwaukee. This for Indiana was no more than just, hey, we're throwing in there. We'll take that young piece you guys have.
Exactly.
We might turn
they didn't even
something.
really give up anything.
Yeah. So George Hill, it's cool to have him. I give them just like an A, just because it's kind of cool.
Why are we giving the Pacers A?
Because it's kind of cool.
Come on, y'all.
Okay.
We just throwing A's everywhere.
You're bringing back Broad Ripple, IUPUI, and Pacer legend George Hill, and then you get a nice young piece. Never played.
Okay, so
it's a picks.
I think it's an A only because not because it's earth shattering, but like for what the Pacers gave up, which was nothing. Like they literally just kind of got some expiring contracts in George Hill. Like they waive Serge Ibaka and bring back James Johnson, who's a good locker room guy for them. They have like pretty much a stab in the dark with Jordan Nwora. You know what I mean? Maybe he turns into something. Maybe he don't.
Yeah, there's no reason.
But it's just value. You know what I mean? Did they do anything to really change their roster construction? No. But like, you know what I mean? I would say B+, A- for them.
I think for the Nets, I mean, this is kind of the best thing you could have ever asked for
sure.
And they're going to be good in probably the next decade.
Yeah.
Word.
Can we admit that last show I said that Russell Westbrook is going to get traded for role players? And look at what we have today.
That's very true.
It is crazy. Take us through the trade, Coby.
It's the Russell Westbrook trade.
Yep.
So I need to find that up. I was not prepared for that one.
Oh no, I got it.
You go for
I got your back, man.
I appreciate it. I got you. You can always host.
Los Angeles Lakers received Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt. Minnesota receives Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley, second-round pick. It says Washington second-round pick, least favorable. Utah second-round pick and another Utah second-round pick. Utah Jazz received Damian Jones, Juan Toscano-Anderson, and Russell Westbrook, and the Lakers 2027 first-round pick. And wow. You know what I mean? The Lakers might be back.
We are back.
They might be back. I love the addition of D'Lo.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of D'Lo's ever since he came out of college. Didn't really see him blossom until he went to Brooklyn, which then, I was like, man, D'Lo. Now he's going to the Warriors. It just didn't work out.
That was such a weird,
that was a weird time.
The Warriors won that trade, though, because they got Wiggins, and Wiggins really has changed his whole career around.
And he was the second best player in the finals. So, shout out to him.
Yeah, I mean, D'Lo, I think this team's only going to get better with them. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. I mean, we might as well just talk about the whole Lakers at this point because they got what? They have Malik Beasley, which is a whole thing with him and Scottie Pippen Jr. I don't know how they do that. That's insane.
That is so funny to me. I'm sure, he makes jokes about, where your mom at? All that stuff. But still, again, it's just you have Malik Beasley, who's just going to be a fantastic shooter for you.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, who's just, a fantastic, just big, who's, rangy. He's a really, really good on a championship-winning team, and,
a great energy guy.
Kind of a steal
energy guy for sure.
A steal,
He's under the radar.
For sure, 100%. And then you have D'Lo, who's pretty much Kyrie Irving like. You know what I mean? I just feel like what he does for the – okay, don't look at me like that.
No, I'm
agreeing. But I mean, from a scoring perspective, he can, just have, kind of those microwave moments.
Yeah,
he can. Pass the ball a little bit. But really what you're, having him there for just for his offensive threat ability, his shooting and stuff like that, which is something that's really, really nice when you have AD and LeBron on your roster. And you have, again, now you have floor spacing in Malik Beasley, and then you have, a couple of, now you bring Mo Bamba and stuff like that in another trade. I feel like this Lakers squad has,
they have some potential.
It's an actual roster.
Yeah, they have some potential. I mean, last night they played against Trailblazers and they didn't perform good, but I think that was just really a sleeper game. They played so great against Golden State that when they played against Portland, they thought it was going to be sweet. And it's not. Whenever you go into Portland and you have to face Dame Dollar, he's coming with some heat. So
yeah,
I think that this Laker roster has the potential to be really good, but it all depends on AD and LeBron's health. I mean, AD has been playing pretty good. He has been playing okay, I should say. He had a 20-20 game yesterday, but it wasn't a big 20-20 game. It was a very silent 20-20 game. So we just have to have the dominance of AD back. If he plays like he did the first half of the season and LeBron plays how he's been playing, I think that this Lakers team can go really far. I think they could go second round, third round. I don't know if they could beat the Suns, but we have to see the Suns play. I mean, the Suns look amazing on the roster, on paper, but we have to see the Suns play. I don't know. I think he's still hurt. Is he still hurt?
You're right.
Yeah. I think what most people are saying is,
how can you trade for him then if he's hurt?
Because
it's Kevin Durant.
It's Kevin Durant.
I'm Kevin Durant. Like, I mean,
y'all know who I am.
Yeah. So I mean, like, but yeah, I feel like, you know, at that point, since you are like the Suns and you don't really have a. I like how we haven't mentioned Aiden at all, which is funny to me.
I was going to, but I just
exactly because it's Aiden. But like,
DeAndre.
I just feel like with this like Suns roster, they've just been able to just kind of like grind out some games. You know, they're talented, so they, you know, win games, but still they don't really have an identity. Teams aren't scared of the Suns.
No,
they're not scared of the Suns.
I think they will be
now. Like, they kind of have that big bro to be like, hey, look.
Hey, I got big bro with me now.
Yeah, exactly.
I got big bro with me now.
They brought him back. They brought him back to the playground after they got beat. You know what I mean? Luka Doncic put the beating on him. Now he's showing up. So, again.
Hey, Luka got a friend now.
Exactly. Now, Luka got a friend now. Like, everybody got friends, and, you know, in that 4th and 5th seed in the West. So, I feel like, you know, with this roster, now they have a guy to kind of look towards that really have that, like, you know, they kind of have that threatening energy to where, like, teams, you know, really don't want to play the Suns now. Like, teams wanted to play. People were hoping, especially the top seeds, were hoping the Suns would sink like, you know, like the 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? And then so the top teams would be like, all right, yeah, beat up on the Suns right quick, get to the second round. But now, like, they have the guys where it's like, okay, now the Suns are a really good threat. Like, in my opinion, I think, you know, Devin Booker's the best shooting guard in the league, and then you have, you know, the top 2, the small forward in the league, maybe even top 1. So you have those 2 guys on your team, veteran and Chris Paul, you know, a skillful big in DeAndre Ayton, and you have, you know, people off the bench, even though they gave up a little bit of bench depth, but without starting the roster, I don't even care. And then you know, go ahead and go forward with a fantastic coach with Monty Williams. Like, I just feel like
it's an amazing fit. I think so.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think this whole thing really. I mean, are we still talking about Lakers or Suns? Because, like, the Suns, we kind of did a whole, like, spill on them. But I just want to focus on
Lakers.
I just want to focus on the Lakers, really. It's just how mainly with, I think, D'Lo in that fit works well.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's rebounding. I mean, Beasley's shooting. I mean, Timberwolves, that whole Rudy Gobert experiment, man, it's just not looking good.
At all. It's not looking as bad. I mean, okay. I was mad at the trade. Rudy Gobert wasn't playing the best now, but with Rudy Gobert, you're going to get like a good defense. You're going to get like a talented roster to where like you're going to be able to compete, maybe make it to the second round. However, you know, it's just the fit with Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know why they were so certain that was going to work. I have no idea why they were so certain that, okay, you know, we got Karl Anthony Towns. We have 2 bigs. 2 bigs haven't worked in this league in a minute.
Yeah.
In a minute, if ever.
Last time I can think about that was like Blake
the
Griffin
Spurs
and Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
I was thinking like
Spurs maybe. Like it just feels like, you know, again, granted they have 2 very, very different skill sets, but still, I don't like
it's just too much clogging. I mean, when you have a scorer like Anthony Edwards, you have to clear out the court because nobody could go with him one-on-one.
Exactly.
But when you put Gobert in the game and you put Karl in the game, you're closing the game. You're closing the court. So now Anthony don't have room to cook. And that's what Minnesota is experiencing right now. Mm-hmm. And they don't have anybody else that can cook besides Anthony Edwards one-on-one. So because of that, I think that it's going to be very tough for them to do anything in the playoffs.
And going back to the trade though, like, who do you think, you know, what do you think of this pickup with Mike Conley, mainly, with this Timberwolves squad? Do you think it's a good thing that they kind of like switched him out? Or
you think so?
I think so.
I don't think Mike Conley has been doing anything for the last 3 years. I think we're thinking about 2015 Memphis. What has Mike Conley done in 2020?
Okay. Now let's not ride on Mike Conley. Now.
Come on, it's Mike. I know he's Indiana native.
Yeah, exactly.
But come on, y'all. Come on.
Be for real. I think what Mike Conley can bring to this squad and what he's been doing the last couple seasons is what the Timberwolves need. I think, you know, with Mike Conley, he's been able to not be that dominant of a scorer, but like, you know, enough to where he's just steady. He's consistent.
Yeah.
D'Lo, not really steady, not really consistent.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think he brings a much needed and different skill set than D'Lo in his playmaking, in his kind of just veteran leadership of the squad, being really the adult in the room. Even though Karl Anthony Towns is that kind of like veteran, I should say, in the locker room, he's still fairly young, and he doesn't have like that type of, I don't know, prestige or class that Mike Conley has. I feel like Mike Conley has that type of, kind of reputation of being like, okay, he's a good guard. He's played on some, pretty good teams. He hasn't won a championship, so he doesn't bring that to the table. However, he does have that kind of like, okay, he know what he's talking about. He kind of that, like, old school, you know what he's talking about type thing. You listen. So once you bring that into the locker room, that I feel like is much needed, because Anthony Edwards is kind of just out here. You know what I mean? He just be doing stuff.
I love Ant.
He's so funny. Just give him a mic and I'll just listen. And so, like, you have him, and then you have Rudy Gobert, who he has that relationship with. And Mike Conley has played with a player that's kind of like, Anthony Edwards and Donovan Mitchell. Okay. So he kind of has that era. So I do think that he brings a lot to this Minnesota team, but it just kind of sucks that, the D'Lo kind of like, D'Lo, Cat, and
that didn't really work out.
That is unfortunate. Two of my favorite.
Different.
I mean, it's kind of
exactly. They like each other too.
Talking about, like, when we talk about the whole Trae Young thing, is it now to really start thinking about how Cat hasn't been living up to expectations now?
He's been hurt, so it's kind of TBA, but I'm open to that conversation. I feel like what he does is fantastic, but I'm not sure what he does goes to winning basketball in the type of class that he wants to, like, be in. Yeah. Because, like, I remember a few years ago, people were like, had all these, players that they would build a team around. Like, pretty much almost every one of the NBA executives said, like, Karl Anthony Towns, he was a player to build around. Now,
nobody wants to build around him.
Exactly. So
they want Ant.
Exactly. They would rather have Ant. So
you think that would make it? I think the Gobert trade is one of the probably.
I think the Gobert trade pushed them back 3 steps. I think if you keep Cat and Ant, they could probably make something shake, but because of that Gobert, you have to get rid of one of them. And I think it's time for you to build on Ant.
I agree. I think they shouldn't have broken up the squad that they had. Made that decent run against Minnesota. Minnesota, but the Grizzlies. I think
that was a pretty good squad.
That was a good squad. It had looking up. I think Vando is exactly what you need for the squad. Not a person that's going to like lock it down, but he's going to be able to switch on to a lot of bigger defenders, be that defensive presence. I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't it funny when Pat Bev saw D'Lo come back? You're like, oh, man, let's go run it back.
Exactly.
And then 10 hours later, bye-bye.
I don't think we should have got rid of Pat Bev, though, but, I mean, it's a part of the business.
You're not missing much.
Yeah. Okay.
We're missing his podcast. Yeah, I love Pat Bev.
I do.
I like Pat Bev. It's just like.
But he's on your team.
Pat Bev for Mo Bamba, I'll take Mo Bamba. For what the Lakers need, I'll take Mo Bamba.
I mean, he's going to sign somewhere. Who knows where?
Oh, yeah, he's going somewhere. I think he should go back to the Clippers, personally.
I could see, like, Boston, maybe Milwaukee.
Ew. Not because that's the bad basketball fit, but mainly because I don't want to see Pat Bev in a green jersey with the Boston Celtics. That just don't sound natural.
That don't fit Pat Bev.
That don't sound natural. Not. But, yeah, like I feel like that would be nice for him and stuff. But, yeah, I do think that would be nice. But since another part of this trade that we're not really mentioning is Russell Westbrook. Where is Russell Westbrook going to go?
Clippers.
That's not bad. That's not a bad take.
Not bad.
I think that the best fit for him is Miami, though.
I was just saying that. I was like,
Miami is the best fit for Russell Westbrook. I was saying
Miami, bro.
But I don't think, on paper, yes. But, like, Jimmy Butler and Russell Westbrook, I just feel like that's just kind of like a ticking time bomb on the court.
I mean, he's only getting bought out. He's about to be a free agent. This is literally for rental purposes. For rental purposes, I think that is good for Miami.
I mean, yeah.
I think in the playoffs it might work. And I think that Russell Westbrook getting around a good Heat culture. And I think that Kyle Lowry is not the answer. Kyle Lowry is a mismatch on the defensive end. And on the offensive end, he's not that much better either.
Word.
So because of that, I think that if they made Kyle Lowry look pretty good in Miami's system last year, I think Russell Westbrook would be double that.
Now hear me out on this.
I'm listening.
I mean, if you were to go back when these two guys teamed up a few years ago, Westbrook was still a starter. Now he's changed his role. I think you know who I'm going to say. Philadelphia.
I wouldn't hate it.
Now, can he and Embiid get along is the question.
I think they would be. And I feel like since you have, like, I really do think, like, Russell Westbrook and James Harden are actually, like, just friends for real. So I do think, like, he has that, already, like, kind of previously established relationship already with general manager, 76ers.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
What's
the Houston
Dale Morey.
Yeah.
Thank you. He already has that relationship with him. I just feel like that's going to be like I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it either. I think
it might mess up the development of Tyrese Maxey though.
Nah.
Only because
for a 1-year rental.
Maybe.
Tyrese is going only up, and then Russ Westbrook in there. That's gonna cut some of his minutes down.
He would be on the bench. Like, you don't got to worry about him.
I mean, like,
he's the veteran leader.
I don't think Russ Westbrook fits that veteran leader type. He still thinks that he's a top 10 point guard in his head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's not trying to sit the bench no more.
I don't think Harden's a vocal leader. We talked about this last week. I don't think Harden's vocal.
I think
Westbrook is a vocal leader. So, I mean, that would definitely aid him. And, of course, he has Doc Rivers already.
But I don't know how much are people really going to, like... Part of me wants to say that, I'm not sure if Russell Westbrook is going to be respected in that type of locker room. Mainly from the aspect, not as Russell Westbrook as a person, but more because, like, he's just kind of the new guy. Like, that type of mentality that we talked about last week. Like, I don't think people are really going to respect him. So, I don't know. I don't know. I do think that should be something that Philadelphia might, like, look into a little bit. But, I feel like Russell Westbrook wants to go back to, a team like Wizards or something like that, like a Bulls or something like that.
No, man, he wants to do a ring. He's got to go.
I don't think he do.
I don't think so.
I don't think he do.
I don't think he do. I think he's just curious about his stats, and he just wants to go out. He said, in quote, let's just have fun. When we said we was winning, he said, let's just have fun.
Yeah. Like LeBron was talking about something. Let's be gritty. Yeah, let's just get greedy. And
let's get greedy.
Hey, man, let's just have fun, man. Like,
let's just have fun.
That's just not the Westbrook I would know.
Exactly.
Not my Westbrook.
So because of that, I think he just wants to ride off into the sunset and just have a couple records, I guess. Mm-hmm. Get some more triple doubles.
I ain't mad at it, but like, do
your thing.
It is what it is, for sure.
That's pretty much all I got.
Hey, man.
Got anything you want to add, CJ?
Anything I want to add?
What record is LeBron breaking next?
Exactly. LeBron tied his shoe this morning. That's the best shoe tie that ever happened. No,
wait. He did not just say that. Wearing his jersey.
Crazy.
He is the meme. He fits the mold.
Who would have thought, bro? We need to have Ralph on here just to have, like, you know what I mean?
No, but like I said before, just appreciative of the opportunity. I love getting in the studio with you guys. And my mom's watching, so hi, Mom.
Hey. There we go.
Goodness. Yeah.
What up, CJ's mom?
Yeah, shout out to him. We love moms around here. I just want to say, just shout out, fantastic show, guys.
Awesome.
Fantastic, episode and stuff. I was really looking forward to this episode ever since, like, trade deadline and Super Bowl. I was like, this is going to be fun. So yeah, fantastic, week and stuff. I'm really curious to see like what we have next, in terms of like NBA action and stuff. I can't wait to get into more of that and stuff. We have a lot of like opportunities going on around the station and stuff. March Madness.
I was going to say college basketball is almost coming to the
exactly.
end. We'll talk a whole lot about that.
I can't wait till that. You know what I mean? There's so much more like going on and stuff that I just can't wait for. A really good episode. I'm having a good time.
You didn't even mention baseball.
I'm not going to mention baseball. Personally.
I'll talk baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll just let you cook. We'll let you cook. We'll go in the corner and let you cook.
We need Blake and Zach for that.
Exactly. Facts. Lord.
No, but I really do think I'm just excited to see how these guys mesh well with their new teams. See where the NBA landscape is going to be playing now until All-Star break. Because All-Star break's about what? 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Is it less than that?
All-Star break?
This week.
No, it's this week.
I think it's this week. Why am I tripping? Something like that.
I only know that because of fantasy.
I only know that because it's always on my birthday weekend. So
okay. How old are we turning?
So on February 18th, I will be turning 20. So come on, give us some love.
Okay, 20. Okay, 20.
You're only 19.
I'm only 19, like Jason Tatum.
We are exactly.
Every year he's 19.
Man, oh man, bro. We are old. We are old people.
How old are you? You're 21, right?
I'm 21. Yeah, we in the same class.
Yeah, but what month were you? December. I'm the oldest here.
Yeah, exactly. But you were in. What were you in? November, October, November.
Veterans Day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy.
Crazy, man.
Well, I guess the old man's gonna have to send us out. Oh man, great show though. Can't wait to talk more about it.
For sure.
Any more last words before we get on out?
Go Pacers.
Go Pacers. Every time, go Pacers. Hey, quick shout out: Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, 3-point contest. Lock him in.
Bring it home.
One of them's doing it, and I'm not wanting it to be Buddy.
Exactly.
I want it to be Tyrese.
Wow. Okay.
be fair.
For sure.
Okay, understandable.
Appreciate you, Joe, always coming on here. Appreciate you, CJ, second time. Might see you for a third time. Are you pulling the three-peat?
Yes,
LeBron
sir.
couldn't do it, so are you going to do it?
Wow.
Okay.
No, you had to get a lick in before we left. Oh, my goodness.
I'll let this slide.
I've been the Coby Clark, WZIS-FM on all of our social medias. Until next time, everyone. Later and peace out.